Good afternoon, good morning, good time of day, as always. Welcome, everyone, to Banner and Backbone, episode 11 of the Anti-Fascist Book Club. Today, we're going to talk about protect, establish, learn, listen, establish, contribute, learn, and listen today on our chapters of On Tyranny. In our continued discussion, I'm Nick Perro, co-founder here at Banner and Backbone, founder of Sick of the Shit with Nick and or Sick of the Shit publications. And I am joined today initially by my good friend and colleague here in the reporting and podcasting world, and just friend now in general, Tara Devlin of Tara Buster.
Hello, guys.
It's good to see you, Tara.
You
good
too.
to see everyone in the chat as you start coming on in. Melissa Corrigan's going to be joining us shortly. She is in a meeting she had to do, and she'll be on with us here in a couple minutes. Just going to be the three of us today. And we're continuing our deep dive into Timothy Snyder's On Tyranny. Today's, I think, like episode 6 or something of the On Tyranny series that we're doing. We're nearing the end of the book. And I'm going to give a little bit of an intro and just what we're doing. But for everyone who has their books with them, this is a read along or join along and discuss along. We are in the chats in Substack, in YouTube, in Twitch, wherever we are streaming. We are on the stack. So if you are on the chat, so if you have questions, please ask. Also, smash that heart on Substack. Let us know you're here. Share it. Hit the subscribe in the top left corner and join all of us, the contributors and the network itself. Today, we're going to be reading and talking about chapters 14, 15, 16, and 17 of Timothy Snyder's On Tyranny. This is our virtual anti-fascist book club where we discuss anti-fascist content. And we learn and we engage with each other to understand corollaries between history and current events. And what this is an establishment for y'all, is a baseline for everyone in the audience to be able to, 1, join in with us today, and 2, be able to start your own, to be able to bring this knowledge and the actions and the information you learn from us and with us into your real life, either as your own book club or just amongst friends and just talking with people and encouraging them to read these books and talking about these books and the lessons that you've learned. That's step 1, and it's free. So welcome again to the Anti-Fascist Book Club. I'm Nick Perro with Tara Devlin, soon to be joined by Melissa Corrigan. Let's get into it. Today's, like I said, today we're continuing On Tyranny by Timothy Snyder. We're quite a ways into the book. And Tara and I were just right before the show talking about privacy. And ensuring as people become, say, more public figures and they get their voices out there. And like myself, I'm newer to this space, is how do you maintain a private life? And how do you ensure that you don't get doxxed, that you don't get... Melissa Corrigan is joining us. Hello, Melissa.
Hey, Melissa.
Perfect timing. We are just getting started. It's good to see you, Melissa.
Good to see you. Hi, Tara.
Hey.
My husband's from Long Island, and he walked by last week. He was off last Friday, and he walked by and heard your voice and was like, Who are you talking to? He said she sounds just like all my family up there.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah. I don't think you're saying I have an accent, I guess.
You do. You do. It's subtle. New York has a specific accent that is very different from the rest of like New England.
And parts of New York.
And other parts of New York, yeah.
Yeah.
Especially the city.
Right.
Yeah. By borough, your accent is different.
It's true. Well, as long as I mean, there's this very distinct Staten Island accent that my sister has bad, and she doesn't even live on Staten Island anymore. It's like, I don't know, something like that.
Oh,
The worst.
oh, that sounds bad.
I know. Like, yeah. I'm trying to,
Yeah.
like, all I have to do is imitate her, and then that's the accent. Yeah, but
Just
and
do
I'm
that
like,
at Thanksgiving.
right. Well, even her kids make fun of her for it, so it's kind of fair game. But
I know my mom gets really when my mom gets really mad. She hasn't lived there in decades. Is when a Brooklyn accent comes out,
oh
you
yeah.
know you're fucked.
Oh yeah,
Like,
well that's
you
it.
done
Yeah,
messed up.
you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
That's when my accent comes out, and that's what people say when I get angry. I'm like, what the fuck, you know.
I'm
What?
Southern,
But
so my Southern accent comes out when I get mad. That's
Right.
what my kids say. So.
Right. Then well, usually when I'm ranting and raving about this fascist takeover, then you can hear it more, I suppose, because I generally don't like to have public meltdowns on people or anything like that. That's not really what I do. So you know what I mean. So I don't find myself like out there like, what the fuck is wrong with you, blah blah blah. But
sometimes you do need to do that though. Like there's some
Yeah.
times when that's like totally appropriate.
Right. Yes, it is. It is very much so. All right, my
There are some
cat's
people
getting
who
cranky.
definitely
Get
need
down.
it. Anyway, we're going. So right as you were joining, Melissa, we were getting ready to talk into our chapters today on tyranny, which are starting at 14, which is establish a private life. And one of the things we were talking, Tara and I were talking about before the show was doxing and public. How do you respond as a new public figure, and how do you maintain a private life? What is private and what is public? And I wanted to get y'all's thoughts on it because we were talking about like Incogni right before the show, and this is free advertisement for them. Like I'm not being paid by Incogni, but Incogni, if you want to pay me, I'll advertise for you on Banner and Backbone if you want to pay us for it, because I use the service. Like one of the first things I was able to do with my Sick of This Shit publication was I bought an Incogni subscription for myself so I could scrub the internet of a lot of my email addresses and things like
smart.
that. What do you guys do, or what do you both do, and do you have any suggestions as people? Tara, because you said you've been doxxed.
I have been doxxed. That's why I was mentioning to Nick before the show, I hope that you're taking precautions, and now Melissa too, you should, because we're the people that were as far as I'm concerned, I don't hate right wingers. I want them to get help. I want them to get health care, live in a decent community with working class, upwardly mobile, economically vibrant jobs, things like that. I want them to have retirement security. But for whatever reason, that I guess is very triggering to them, and they're not out there making the world safe for democracy. They're drinking our tears, And I found that with doing my show, I started getting attacked by right wingers, which is par for the course. In fact, I consider it a compliment. If as FDR said, "Judge me by my enemies." But if they're not upset, I guess I'm not doing a good job. But then I don't know how I got doxxed. Somebody got that. Well, my phone number was all over the web, and it was like the horse was out of the barn. It was too late, and I ended up I had to change my number and take other precautions. Now I use delete me. Now I'm not on the internet anymore, thankfully. I wish I had thought of that early, but I didn't even realize that my number and my address was everywhere. I mean, call me naive, but I didn't even think about it, because I'm out here. I'm sincerely trying to contribute to the conversation. I didn't think that would be something that people would, get so angry about. Like, go do your own damn show. You don't like what I'm saying? Do your own damn show, like, okay, leave me alone. But that's not what they do. And it was relentless and incessant. And it was just it just goes to show you how devious and disgusting and how much they have nothing to offer humanity. I mean, go fight for your values if that's what you think. Like, why are you trying to send Scientologists to my house? It's just validates the work, that I'm doing. It's irritating, yeah, but is that all that's all you got? You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand. I just don't get it. That just right. I mean, go do your own thing. If you believe in, the baboon, go defend
Go
him.
talk about it.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
defend it publicly. Let us all know exactly who you are and what you feel about other people. Like, go for it, bros. Because then we're going to come back out and we're going to just respond.
Yeah, it's not going to
tell
stop.
You that you're wrong.
We're not going to stop. Exactly. It's not. It's just going to be. It's going to encourage me to continue because clearly, this is needed. People are sick, but there are sick people on top of it, so you got to be very careful. But I think that on top of what it's not just being incognito. I think that what Timothy Snyder is talking about in this chapter is that establishing a private life means that you can still access independent opinions and build genuine relationships without fear. You know what I mean? Where you're
without fear that you're going to be exposed. Or like
exactly.
I was rereading the chapter this morning, and it was specifically talking about Hillary Clinton's emails and the release of those emails, and how we all, and I say we all, the media at the time and young creators who were new to this, like Ukraine responded very differently when Russia attacked them in this similar way with information warfare. The US just was like, we don't care. Like, the US didn't respond at all and didn't put any pushback. That the problem wasn't so much that we wanted the information in the emails. The real problem was that private emails and private documents were stolen. And we were just like, oh, we just want the information out of them. We don't care about the privacy violation portion that preceded it. And the media didn't latch on to that part and didn't immediately shut it all down as this is obviously a violation of privacy. This is obviously an attack on a foreign entity. They could have done that and it would have been over.
Yeah.
But instead we got Trump on stage going, Russia, if you got the emails, send them out.
This traitor, an absolute traitor, calling for an anti-democratic foreign dictator, America-hating foreign dictator to hack his political opponent's email. I mean, it's just so disgusting.
I think that may have been one of the first overt acts of treason that Donald Trump committed.
Oh, it probably wasn't. I mean,
it wasn't the first, but it was one of the first.
The first we saw
overt
ones, exactly,
where we actually have witnesses to.
Yes,
like
the
thing with treason.
Oh, he's a traitor.
I've reread Section 3 or Article 3, Section 3 of the Constitution of the judicial branch of the Constitution, which is treason, defines the meaning of treason and how you prosecute it. Is you have to have witnesses for most one of the ways to convict of treason is 2 witnesses to the crime must under oath say you committed treason.
Right.
Okay. Wow. Well, Donald Trump, we saw you on national TV commit treason. Like there's more than 2 witnesses. I think the media never jumped onto these targeted words. Like one of the chapters, the last chapter that we're going to talk about today is also like word usage and targeted word usage, such as hanging Democrats for seditious treason that Donald Trump has been using. Treason should have been used when he did it.
That's
right. We just never said it. And the media gave up and capitulated. And I think
they did. Yep.
That's part of the establishing private life portion of this chapter is the media never pushed back on that. The private life of somebody was stolen at the request of another political candidate and perpetrated by a foreign agent that are enemies to our nation.
Yep.
Like it could have been that simple. Like I'm just a guy who says these things. Like the media could have said it.
Yeah.
They have money and like backings. we're just standing here. We got our, oh, by the way, we got our first founding subscriber to
Oh,
Banner
wonderful.
Backbone. So the Backbone of the Banners Club is now open. For $250 a year, you can become a founding subscriber at Banner and Backbone and help us help us really build this platform up. So I'm not gonna I won't out our founding member unless they say they are okay with it. But thank you to our first founding member. And like, that's part of privacy though. Is like, I'm not going to just out this person. Like establishing a private life too. Part of all of this is like, how do you get away from the internet? How do you get yourself private? And Melissa, I'm going to pose this question to you because you live in a place where privacy is under assault right now, and you get to watch drones every so often fly up near your house. How do you see privacy as someone who is being both physically monitored at times without your knowing, because that's what is going on when these things happen? And how do you feel about that in terms of establishing a private life, and what are you doing to ensure that you maintain one?
Yeah, I think the expectation, especially when I moved from Medium to Substack and realize sort of the potential of the audience of Substack, that this is there's not much I can do in terms of myself. So my focus has been a lot more on keeping my family private and keeping my kids out of any kind of public eye. Years ago, I used to be a lot more kind of careless with sharing pictures of my kids on the internet and stuff. Just, I think as we all did, the school pictures and all that. And over the years, I just started taking them down and, protecting their identity, because I'm choosing to come out here and put my legal name. I thought it was interesting how some super brave, bold journalist on January 20th, like all of a sudden went by a pseudonym. It was like that. Their entire branding changed. They took their actual name like totally off of all of their platforms, and they started going by a pseudonym, which is their way of protecting, their identity. And I know in the case of a couple of them, it's because they have immigrant family members or other family members that would be targeted by this regime, who are being targeted by this regime. So I think it's interesting to see how creators and writers all across the board take different kind of steps in that way to protect themselves. With me, I kind of felt like I've already been writing under my government name for so long that it's just kind of so I did move. Like, I just got a brick and mortar office that I am in the process of moving into full time. So that's sort of a nice feeling since I've been working from home. So it's sort of nice. Number one, it's not in Norfolk, so there's not a fucking flock camera outside my office. So that's nice. So,
that's
but
good.
I have so that gives me a different mailing address, a different physical address.
Right.
So I like
there you go.
that from my family life so much. The Ring camera thing really bothers me, because our neighbor across the street has a Ring camera, and I've tried talking to him nicely and saying, could you maybe just, if you want to still use it, knowing what it does, could you maybe turn it so it just points at your door? And he wasn't interested in doing that. So that's frustrating for me more, because again, that's monitoring my kids come and going. And if you want to monitor me, whatever, but come on. Yeah.
I think one of the important things you pointed out in there too was the separation in your business from your personal. And like, that's one of the reasons why when I was able to, I established business licenses and LLCs for both my publications, because it adds a layer of separation, especially on a mailing address, and using registered agents so that you don't have to have a physical mailing address that is your home and that can never be on public record. Like, if you have a small business and you're able to do something like that for a virtual business, absolutely you should. Yes, it's a little expensive to have to pay for a registered agent, but in some professions, it's really worth it. Like, I'd much rather have a registered agent's address in the public sphere that is not tied to my personal address. Like it's a billing address, it's a mailing address.
And I
doesn't
don't think a
home
lot
to
of
me.
people think about when you're an independent journalist, when you write for a major paper, you have their protections built
Yeah.
in. You have legal protections, you have the ability to protect your sources in a really much robust way. So, you know, when I'm out here doing stories and I have a source and, you know, I'm protecting that source, and it's literally just me. I don't have an attorney on retainer, you know, if I already pressed on it. So this is another reason why it's important to, I think the next chapter goes into contributing to good causes. And
Yeah.
I, you know, luckily I don't see people talking negatively about independent journalists, at least here on Substack, asking for paid subscription, because part of that is building in protection. So if I need to break a story and I have a source I need to protect and I need to have some money in a retainer just in case, that's where all that when you pay a subscription to a regular newspaper, that's going towards that, you know, infrastructure, and we're having to do that for ourselves.
Yeah, we are in the process of building that infrastructure. And I think this was a really great segue into the next chapter, into chapter 15 of Contribute to Good Causes. I think when we think about contributing to good causes, we tend to only think about contributing to charity and like nonprofit organizations. But good causes include independent media creators.
Yeah.
You believe in what we're doing and you think, say, Banner and Backbone, Sick of the Shit Publications, Terrabuster, Counterstory Media, friggin' the Firebrand Report on Offense with Chris Goldsmith, Freedom Over Fascism with Stephanie Wilson, I think I said Firebrand Report with Shane Urich, I'd Rather Be Writing with Walter Ryan, Lawrence Winterman and Dana Dubois, Gen Xy, like you all should be, you should be contributing to that. And what I'm going to do right now, actually, because that's part of contributing to a good cause, and Lawrence put something out this morning on a show that I want to be a part of, which is Banner and Backbone is going. We don't normally do a lot of sales on Banner and Backbone right now because we're still building up. However, one of the things we're going to do right now is we're going to participate in contributing to good causes, which is Blue Friday. So a new thing that they're doing, it's that Lawrence helped start with Blue Amp Media, is they're doing every Friday something called Blue Friday. They want other contributors and creators to do the same and encourage them to do the same, which is make a single day sale event for your subscription where everybody encourages folks to become subscribers and contribute to the good causes that they want to and care about, such as Banner and Backbone, Sick of the Shit, Terrabuster, Counterstory Media, all of the groups that we just listed off. Yeah, it's self-serving because I need money. Centered America, those guys are a great cause to contribute to because they are also using that money and then giving it back to the community.
Yeah.
Like I want to use the contributions and the subscriptions y'all provide us so that I can provide protections and privacy for contributors like Banner and Backbone. One of the things and I'm telling you all of this publicly because transparency is huge, and fascists live in darkness, and community thrives with transparency and ease of communication. Banner and Backbone wants to be able to offer things like a Restream account for contributors to be able to all use, like Melissa and Shane do for the Rant Act that we have on Thursday evenings. But I also want to be able to have things like an Incogni subscription for all of our contributors. Even if we're not paying somebody directly, giving somebody protection is a means of support right now. Like we can be the contributing factor to give Melissa legal cover, or a Proton email and calendar that scrapes off all of the tracing data from your account so that you're not being traced on the internet through everything, plus an Incogni account and things like that. Those are what subscriptions do for us. That's what it allows us to do. It's more than just buying podcasting equipment and feeding our families. it's also building the community and the structure that we can have privacy and giving back to things like Feeding America. Like that's why we have I have the QR code always up right now on all of our screens, is because Feeding America is something that we are a big part of contributing back to right now. We have raised over $10,000 as the Substack Scribes team that Melissa Corrigan organized. We're over halfway to our $20,000 goal. That's over 100,000 meals generated by us in this community. That is what your subscriptions are going to. That's giving back. That's us paying it forward, because that's what you guys want to do. That's what you're asking. How can we help? How can we support? Well, contribute to good causes such as us, and we push that money forward. We use it to give our contributors security and privacy, and then we use what's remaining to hopefully feed ourselves and other families and give back to the community. So I think like contributing to good causes, I know that was a bit of a monologue for me, but contributing to good causes is more than just charity. It's supporting organizations and people that you value and you want to hear and see more of.
Well, this is, I mean, you know how I feel about this, that the problem in the country, the reason we're in this fascist, challenge is because of the media. It is because people have been bamboozled and misled. I mean, it's money in politics, and it is the problem we have with propaganda in this country. And it goes back a long time, but it starts with the Telecommunications Act, consolidating media. And we literally have, the Fox News victims / viewers who are consuming a media that makes them less informed than people who watch no news at all. And there's studies that show this. So that's alarming. And into that, stupidity, we can have a fascist takeover. As the American people slip lower and lower on the ladder. It's just like what FDR said. It's the stuff of dictatorship. This is the stuff. People who are hungry, people who are out of a job. That is the stuff of dictatorship. That's how dictators are made. And this is what we're fighting for. So I think what just happened with Trump, they just released some order saying that gay flags in the military are you could be removed, right? They could discharge you for having a gay flag, but other symbols of hate are no longer symbols of hate, like the swastika, like you can display a swastika. And
yeah, let's talk about that.
I know you got
Did you see the FBI? Did you see the FBI agent that was fired for having a pride desk on his flag, and he got the pride desk or the pride flag from the FBI as a gift?
That's right.
This is fucking nuts.
Yeah, so they go back in time, but it's not even the fact that I mean, it's a First Amendment issue, and so is everything that they're trying to destroy. And I know we all of us in this chat, I mean, in our net right now on the show, we all served in the military, so we know going to MEPS, going through that process, they look over you, your body, and if you have tattoos, you have to explain them. If they're not readily identifiable, you can't have. I mean, at least when I went in, you weren't. That was a bar to entry. If you had any kind of racist tattoo or symbol, and if you had a racist or if you were involved in white supremacist groups, you weren't allowed to join. That was a bar to being, to entry. And now the Republicans are saying things like, well, that's just what you say they're racist, but I say they're fellow Americans. And there has to be, where are the standards? We fought fascism. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
When I was in the Navy, this very young deck seaman went home for Thanksgiving or some holiday or something, and she came back with a Confederate flag tattoo right here.
Oh no! What an
So
asshole.
she was sat down and explained, like, hey, I don't know what you were thinking, but you're going to need to get that removed. Or at the time, they were like, you can get it removed. You can wear a long sleeve shirt every day, no matter the weather. You'll have to wear a long sleeve uniform. Or, you're going to have to get kicked out.
Yeah.
And she pretended not to understand, like, over and over, like, but this is my family's heritage. You don't understand.
Oh, there you go.
And like, they were like, that's an enemy flag. You understand? And so finally
wow.
This woman got eye level with her and was like, honey, you're in the Union Navy now. Okay.
Right.
I don't know how else to tell you, but
right.
you're in the Union Navy.
What
you
a
can't
disgrace.
have that flag on you. I mean, it's just absurd.
Yeah.
So
it's like the Graham Plattner issue too. And he had a Totenkopf tattoo on his body for like 18 years. To answer the question in the chat, why just the Coast Guard, is because the Coast Guard falls under DHS and not DOD.
Yes.
So they have different regulations, they have different policy approvals, and they don't really follow laws in a lot of ways. They like to just break them and be racist.
Well, they apparently reversed the order. I was just looking it up.
Oh, did they? That's good, because swastikas are hate symbols.
I know.
And we do not normalize hate symbols.
And nooses too. Swastikas, nooses. That was the other one. What was the other? There was another.
Fucked up.
Unfucking believable, right?
Like,
where we live.
If you're getting a swastika tattoo or a noose tattoo, you should never, ever be allowed in service.
Of course not.
You are anti-democratic by nature. You're
an enemy.
The republic.
We don't train our enemies to destroy us. That's the whole rationale behind it.
It's like what we should have done after the Civil War was what Germany did after the Nazis was we should have burned every single Confederate flag. We should have burned the Virginia battle flag.
Yep.
We should have taken all of the monuments and all of the things and blown them up and made them into smithereens and melted them down. Instead, we gave in to these assholes and said, no, we're going to welcome you back by negotiating poorly, because moderates suck. Because moderates
if you read
are the problem.
Accurate history, this is why they want people uneducated, because if you truly get into the actual history leading up to the Confederate War, Robert E. Lee was not eager and willing to do the job that he did. He had to be coaxed and wheedled into it. And once the war was over, Robert E. Lee was the first one to say there should be no monument, no celebration, nothing acknowledging essentially that this happened. I mean, it just shouldn't be. And that's one of their, greatest idols. And they sort of bastardized who he was and what he allegedly stood for. But if you just read the letters that he wrote in his personal correspondence, he wasn't that. So that's the crazy thing about the Confederate flag. And I grew up in the South and under that flag a lot, and the bastardization of the flag, and it was absolutely used more by the KKK than any Confederate battle entity, really.
It was a message of fear. Be afraid and know your place. Don't step outside of your place. And that's why I've written articles about this too, about how Grant should have arrested Lee right then and there and to put him into Leavenworth. Instead, they were able to. He just said, "Well, in fact, Lee was surprised that he was able to keep his sidearm, keep his firearm, keep his sword, and go home and sin no more." And the same to the troops. Yeah. But they should have all been arrested. Alexander Stevens, who was the vice president of the Confederacy, he became some kind of lecture speaker who was going around, with this. It's just continuing to stir up hate. I mean, you can't have, as Lincoln said, a house divided against itself can't stand. And that's why we should have been unapologetically harsh to these traitors.
Look at what Germany did. Yeah.
Learn lessons from other countries. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like chapter
Right.
16, the next chapter that we're going into is learn from peers in other countries.
Right.
Germany banned Nazism.
Yes.
That was like their first thing that they did after
Yep.
all of this was
That's
they
it.
banned Nazism. They burned the flags. They tore down
Yep.
all this shit. They stopped burning books. They got rid of the symbology. We need, like, this time around, as one of our good community members in the chat, Lefty, says the difference this time is that Reconstruction needs to be
That's right.
reformation instead. It needs
Yep.
to be accountability instead. It cannot be apology. It cannot be apologism for white supremacy and Nazism. It has
Right.
to be the end of it. Like, we
That's
actually
right.
have to solve the problem.
That's
We can't
absolutely.
keep kicking the can down the road and and pretending that there's no root cause that we don't know of. We know the root cause.
Yeah.
The Confederacy inspired Nazi Germany. KKK
Yes.
inspired
That's right.
Nazi Germany.
So
Where
did
the
Jim Crow
inspiration?
law. Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
The U.S. was the inspiration for the
Yes.
most fascist fucking regime, and now we are turning into it. Maybe we should acknowledge that and learn from the other countries that got rid of all that shit.
Yep.
Right.
That's
Not
right.
allow it into our Coast Guard as tattoos.
I grew up in South Carolina, and I grew up in rural South Carolina. And I think that case, now the name is popping out of my head, but the big attorney in South Carolina that killed his family and almost got away with it. Murdaugh.
Yeah.
So those type of families are not especially uncommon, and the root of their family wealth was the plantation. And so once slavery ended, and they did not have free labor anymore, it's not like those plantations just went away. They passed them down generation after generation. This generational wealth and power was absolutely preserved. The little town that I grew up in with a population of 800 people was owned by a family. They owned the bank, they owned all the businesses, they owned the town, and they absolutely stemmed from a family that had a plantation in the area. So it's that generational wealth and power that is still trickling down today. And these are the families that they insist on only sending their children to Christian private schools. And it's 100% so they can preserve Christian nationalist white supremacy. That's right. I mean, it's where I come from. And then the Murdaugh case came out, and everybody else in the country was like, this is insanity. And I was like, no, this is normal here.
No, this is South Carolina.
Yeah, like I watch cult documentaries nowadays on these like extremist cults as part of these religious organizations. Nowadays, I'm like, that's not extremist for them. That's what they mostly all do. Like, we're pretending that cults are not big in this country. This country is founded on cults, basically. Literally, the Masons are a cult. Like like Freemasons are a cult. Fraternities are cults. Like, that's all we just call them by different names. So we're built on these ideas of cult. But the thing is, like,
Trump,
we need the cult of Trump
is a cult. There is no doubt. I mean, and now that these pedos, that's the bottom, I suppose. He said he could kill somebody on Fifth Avenue and he wouldn't lose a supporter. Well, I guess he can also rape children, and I mean, the bottom just keeps getting lower for these people.
And call for sitting Democratic lawmakers to be hung for seditious treason. And this goes into our final chapter of today, which is listen for dangerous words. And it opens with be alert to the use of the words extremism and terrorism. Be alive to the fatal notions of emergency and exception. Be angry about the treacherous use of political vocabulary. Let's talk about some treacherous fucking use of political vocabulary as a treasonous president goes around and says that Democratic lawmakers are promoting seditious treason for reminding service members to uphold their oath.
Right.
That was it.
That they don't.
Democratic lawmaker said was, do not disobey, or was you have the legal duty and obligation to disobey an illegal order.
That's right.
It is not you can disobey an illegal order. The phrasing, especially on the enlisted side, is it is your duty to disobey an illegal order, and you are held responsible if you
That's
don't.
right.
Not the other way around. You don't get punished in the long run. Like, you might get immediately punished, but in the long run, you're not going to.
Right.
Because it is your constitutional duty and obligation to support and defend the Constitution from enemies, foreign and domestic, and it literally ends with disobey illegal orders. It is your duty to do this, and if you don't, you get punished under UCMJ.
There'll be consequences.
They tell you get punished if you do illegal orders. So, service members, and as someone who doesn't have the same protections as congressional members, I urge service members to remind themselves and live their oaths that you do not need to follow the orders of a pedophile and traitor. It is
a Putin puppet.
It is your obligation to disobey illegal orders. It is your obligation and your oath to not start a war in Venezuela to appease
to kill civilians I mean, we have due process in this country, so just
we're
like
up to
murder
almost
people.
100 murdered individuals just in the ocean at this point, like 20 boats plus nearing 100 people that the U.S. has just extrajudicially murdered.
There's no proof that they're doing anything but commuting. But the thing that's so devious,
there's also been no approval by Congress and congressional mention, because even during, like, if they start an armed conflict, there's still a reporting process that they have to go to and go through in Congress to get approved to continue using those funds. So Democratic lawmakers, if you're sitting on those fucking committees, the Armed Services Committee and the Oversight Committees and the Congressional Budget Committees, you better start fucking saying no too. Like, don't appropriate funds for this. That's your job.
Well, they should not
appropriate the funds to start a war for a traitor.
And they should. That's what two of the men that survived one of these attacks were released without any questions, or if these are drug dealers, let's see the proof. But obviously, they don't have proof, and they just release these people home, probably with strict, with the fear of their own lives yet again, say anything, and because we haven't heard from these people. So, but as far as what's even more devious is that, we're saying, yes, you have to disobey illegal orders. But when they asked the Republicans about this, the Republicans, Mike Johnson, they're all, and Lindsey Graham, of course, Mike, all these fake Christians, Caroline Leavitt, they are deliberately leaving out the qualifier illegal order, because now they're conflating it. They're saying that, Democrats are telling the troops not to obey orders. That's not what anyone is saying. So this goes to show you who these people are. They are evil, and they're lying to the American people. So one of the reporters asked Caroline Leavitt, that they're encouraging service members not to follow. Because Leavitt said they're encouraging service members not to follow lawful orders. She's Chicken Little. And the reporter said, they're talking about illegal orders. And she responds, every order the president gives is lawful. That is so out of Orwell.
Wild.
I mean, I think Orwell must be, exhausted by now from all the spinning in his grave. But and George Washington too, for this traitor, for this effing baboon, tax cheating, draft dodging, serial bankrupt Putin bitch, Saudi sucking traitor, to mention George Washington. George Washington told the troops to be civil, to act with honor. In fact, there were repercussions if you didn't, if you treated prisoners with anything other than, with decency, because George Washington understood that we were fighting for more than just the land. We were fighting for an idea, and we had to and claim the moral high ground. So that's for this monster to mention George Washington. I mean, George Washington is appalled. You want to talk about spinning in his grave? Oh my God. How dare you? And when George Washington was 14, he wrote 101 rules of civility, how to be a civil, decent gentleman. You think this baboon knows anything about that? I mean, my God. So, keep George Washington's name out of your mouth, you traitor. But
Tara, tell us how you really feel.
It's just unbelievable to me. That's
it is.
Why,
it's the fucking worst.
And why?
Well,
how come? We're here. But I mean, we're here talking about it. Where is the mainstream media? I mean, they educating the American people about this. I can only do so much on Tarabuster. You know what I mean? So,
and I'm dropping a link to our friend Stephanie Wilson is going to be interviewing one of the founders, I think it is, of this organization, is Orders Project.
Okay.
And it is a nonpartisan program created by the National Institute of Military Justice to assist military personnel in understanding their options when faced with orders they believe may not be legal.
Good.
I am right now, until I do further investigation, or after I do further investigation, we'll see if we continue promoting. I'm going to for now promote this website. Is go to the Orders Project. I dropped the link in the and send that link out to people. It is, if it's a group of legal minds that are actually trying to assist service members to know whether orders are legal or not, and doing it non-partisan and unbiased. I wish they would say unbiased rather than non-partisan, because that's more valuable to me, is whether you're biased towards fascism or not, or are you biased towards the Constitution. And I want service members to remember that your obligation is to the Constitution. You are not a terrorist. You are not an extremist. You are not violating your oath. You are not performing seditious treason by upholding your oath. When you stand to support and defend the Constitution and say no to an illegal order, that is your obligation, not your choice. It is your obligation to say no to an illegal order. But it's also wise to get legal counsel and ensure that when you're saying no to things, you know what you're saying and how to defend yourself and how to defend your position. So right now, I'd say go talk to him. Stephanie Wilson's going to be having a conversation with one of the folks from Orders Project, and I'm super excited to hear that, because I want to know what their organization is doing, and how, if they're doing what is essential for service members to help them, how we can support things like that. Because I'm not a partisan. I don't care about the parties. In fact, most of you know I hate both parties and would like to see them broken up and destroyed. I lean Democratic because they are constitutionally minded and are, many of them anyways, not all of them, many of them are constitutionally minded and foundationalists, as I'm calling them right now, is they believe in the foundation of our nation and they don't want to destroy it. That's what I see Adam Kinzinger as. That's what I see Joe Walsh as. I don't really see Liz Cheney about anything, because she doesn't ever come out, and I don't really want to advocate for any Cheney policies ever, to be totally honest. But like, people who actually believe in the framework, we can have discussions with. Those are foundationalists, not conservatives.
Well, there's
conservatives
Chris
are a big different thing.
Chris in the chat has dropped a new bill in the Senate introduced by Tammy Duckworth, to constrain what the military can do as a force inside the country. See, that I think that's another thing that the GOP, the members of the GOP that are pulling away and pulling, away from the MAGA mindset, that can be something they can galvanize around, because if that's not bipartisan, I don't know what is.
Right.
Is
I don't know
reiterating. I'm sorry?
I don't know what else would be more nonpartisan than limiting how much the government could do to hurt Americans.
Well, they only feel outrage when a Democrat might, in their fantasies, might overstretch. I'm sure you remember the Jade excuse me, I'm choking. The great Jade Helm panic of the Obama years. Remember, there were war games that were going on, and somebody got a hold of these war game, plans. And this is what happens. This is what you do in the military. I've been in a lot of fake wars myself, and you train by doing simulations. And in the Jade Helm, the great Jade Helm panic, they considered Texas, like some part of Texas was like the enemy territory. So they went nuts. And of course, it was Greg Abbott. They were like, oh, they activated the National Guard to protect. I mean, it was all a fantasy.
Like they knew the thing was happening too.
Yeah, it was just bullshit. It was anything to get their dumbasses upset about, Obama, he wants to be a king. Now he's going to invade Texas. I mean, it was just complete bullshit and panic about nothing, about absolutely nothing. And the military released press releases and all that saying, hey, calm down, assholes. This is, all in your friggin' head. But Ted Cruz, I mean, you just Google Jade Helm. It was a whole thing. And that's why, Republicans, they have nothing to offer the American people but bullshit like this. Why don't they get all panicky about the fact that millions have no health care? These effing baboons, or they don't get panicky when they fire people, when they send veterans, to the unemployment line, right? They don't do that. In fact, they dance around with chainsaws when that happens, So, I mean,
yeah. Well, look at how, if you're going to look at Jade Helm, look at the whole thing was, you're going to do military exercises on American soil. And now you have Pete Kegsbreath out here saying we're going to practice on American cities, and they all cheer for it.
Exactly. Yep. Now they're all cool with, could you imagine if Obama had activated the National Guard or right. Federalized National Guard of a blue state and sent them to a red state? This is what these poorly run red state monsters are doing. Let's not forget, it's like the Civil War all over again. And how dare they? And no one on the mainstream media points that out either. Like, hello, how dare you activate your state National Guard and send them to another state when they didn't ask?
Who doesn't want them?
Yeah, right. Nobody
That's
asked you.
Basically an invasion.
It's just like these people, but that's what's so offensive on top of everything is that you're treating people like pawns. People who wear the uniform are nothing but little pawns to be used in your game,
and to discredit them as nonpartisan. Like the whole point of this is to discredit service members as being partisan hacks and partisan pawns rather than nonpartisan service.
Well, that's what they serve the country. Did. Yeah, he had that speech where they were selling merch on the base. How dare you?
That's so fucking illegal.
I know.
So illegal.
It's absolutely disgusting.
Yeah.
Anyway, on top of that, so here's a cool thing. I want to bring good news because thank you to Chris for dropping that information about Senate Bill 2198. I'm reading through a little bit right now, and it's actually touching on some of the stuff, Melissa, you and I have talked about that isn't getting very much news, which is the simultaneous service in the Department of Defense and civil law enforcement, where right now our service members are actively being recruited in the last 180 days to the Skill Bridge program to join ICE, be promoted too. And that's against the policy is to promote any other organization. Like they are supposed to maintain neutrality unless that group is a criminal organization, and then they typically say, no, we're not going to put you on at all. Section 3 of this bill is prohibition on simultaneous service in the Department of Defense and civilian law enforcement. Prohibition except as provided in subsection B, an individual serving in any capacity in the Department of Defense, whether in the armed forces or in a civilian position, may not, while so serving, serve in any capacity in any element of civilian law enforcement outside of the Department of Defense.
Good.
Let's see who gets on, who signs on now, So
yeah. And there are 2 exceptions where it's the prohibition under subsection A shall not to apply to a member of a reserve component named in section 10101 of this title who serves in an element of civilian law enforcement outside of the DoD as their normal job. That's the exception, is if you are a law enforcement officer and then you are in the National Guard, that's an exception because you have a civilian job and a guard member job.
Right.
The other one is Section 2, active duty. A member described in paragraph 1 who is called or ordered to active duty shall formally and officially recuse himself or herself from civilian law enforcement duties. So that's basically saying if you are called to become an active duty, while on active duty, if you are called to become a civilian law enforcement member of any time, any order, the law would state that you have to recuse yourself from that duty and not perform law enforcement, and you must return to your civilian or your active duty job in the DoD. I think that's really good that Senator Duckworth put this language, because that was one of our biggest fears, is around the use of the skill bridge program to recruit new ICE members who are still active duty service members.
Wow.
Which is highly illegal.
Yes. I'm going to push the fuck out of this bill just because it's going to piss Kristi Noem off.
Oh God.
It's going to piss her off so bad. And if anybody can piss Kristi Noem off, I'm going to throw my full backing behind them. She's the devil.
She is. God. She's a sociopath. There's no doubt in my mind. Yes. I mean, anybody that does that to a dog, and I mean, she's just.
Did you see the commercial that she ran for self-deportation?
Oh, yes. They run it here in New York.
Video? Yeah.
I've seen it. They're like, she's like, if you are here illegally, it's all the dramatic music, you shall self-deport.
Yeah.
You'll get, and then there's like lighter music. You'll get a free plane ride. You'll get, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I trust, as what did Reagan say? Trust but verify. It doesn't seem like you could trust Kristi Noem. These are people that are saying that they're going to invade churches on Christmas. These pricks, these filthy pricks.
Oh, but they're Christians, right? I thought.
Right. Yeah.
I thought they were Christians.
What about bearing false witness? Isn't that one of your commandments you want? Or no, is that a commandment? Or who the hell knows? I don't remember. I did take religious instruction. My mother was a nun, so I should know these things. But
my mother was a nun.
For real.
That's a story.
Yeah,
that is a story.
Yeah, but I was raised very Catholic. But it is bear false witness. I mean, and there they are, leaving out the important qualifier when they say that Democrats they're telling troops not to obey orders. Who in their right mind believes that? But of course, we have a lot of morons in this country that believe anything. And
here's what when she dealt with the quiet piggy, did you hear when she told the press pool that you should be grateful that he's honest with you? Would any other president be so frank and honest? So frank, really,
to call you a piggy,
right? You should be grateful.
What a piece
that
of
he's
shit.
So frank and honest.
Wow. I mean,
I'm frank and honest.
Right.
I'm frank and honest. Donald Trump, you're a fucking testicle. You have a micro penis. You have micro ego syndrome. You've got small hands. Nobody likes you. You're just a weak
suck
piece
at
of
business.
Shit. You're like the smegma of human beings.
He is.
You're almost as bad as Stephen Miller. You're the smegma of human beings, which is the yeasty substance you find on the inside of the tip of a penis that is not circumcised.
Oh,
it's gross, and I'm going to make sure everybody knows that word because
he's disgusting. Yeah,
we need to. It's okay to tear these people down.
They must be. They have to be.
They have to be. They're disgusting to who. They are smegma.
Yeah,
they are the worst of the worst.
They really are.
Scum under your toenails or between your toes that everybody tells you is athlete's foot.
That's right.
They're the grossest human beings in the world.
Right.
They are the terrorists. They are the traitors. They are the extremists. We have to remind people of that by using the same language and flooding the zone with it. Like the thing is, they flood the zone with this language,
That's
and
it.
flood the zone saying that Democrats are traitors, and it's going to become common like vernacular. Instead, we need to fill that void, and this is the problem with the Democrats: is they do not pay us to fill that void. They don't support independent and small media groups to do that.
They don't.
We all need to be out here discussing the fact that these people are traitors. The Republicans are traitors. Marjorie Taylor Greene, I may acknowledge that you are supporting us in the release of the Epstein files and getting accountability, but you supported an insurrection and caused an insurrection.
And she still does. Too. They still do.
You don't get to live in the House or the Senate ever again.
Right.
Once this is all done, the good you have now done does not outweigh the fact that you actively spent the last 10 years destroying the country and inciting insurrection and treason. Like, no.
Well, she still hasn't broken from him 100%. She's like, I believe in his policies. But what policies? What policies, bitch? A fucking traitor who kisses a goddamn Saudi blood-soaked bitch's fucking hand in the White House like a goddamn disgrace. Dude, I mean, think about that. I mean, I can't. I mean, I'm like, I couldn't believe what I was watching when he was doing that.
Yeah.
You know, to this Saudi prick. Yeah. Oh, he's great on humanitarian. He's a great this. He's going to give us $1 trillion. I mean, how stupid do you think we are? $1 trillion. I mean, that's all. Why don't you say a zillion? Go fucking 10,000 gajillion. Just make up a fucking number, because that's all you're doing, you know? And and the fact that the Republican Party, you know, think about what they're doing with even with this illegal order thing. The fact that they're taking out the illegal qualifier and spreading the lie that Donald Trump, oh, this is sedition, that he has any merit at all. Where is the don't you have any decency moment from these monsters? Because none of them have decency. You know, they are a lost cause, all of them. From perjury trader Green to Mike Johnson and that Caroline Leavitt with that friggin' cross on her neck. Get that cross off your neck.
Burn her.
Like, exactly. You know
she's lying too when the cross is bigger.
And lies.
The bigger her cross, the more she's lying.
It just gets bigger and bigger.
For smegma. Oh, okay. It is the yeasty-like substance.
Oh no! Here we go again.
Under the hood of the tip of a penis.
I gotta eat lunch
that
soon.
Is
you know,
uncircumcised. That is what Donald Trump is. That is what Stephen Miller is. That's what J.D. Vance.
Well, you know, I might have to disagree a little bit because you know, does smegma have a purpose? You know, I mean, there must be some purpose to it. Oh, okay. Because maybe
hurting you. It's a cleanliness thing. Is people who get that sort of thing don't clean themselves.
Oh, okay. So maybe it's like an alert system to say, like, you got to clean yourself better. But, so you know,
it's like the right-wing men who think that wiping their own butthole makes them gay because they might actually accidentally touch their own butthole and then they're going to be gay.
They're gay.
You're probably already gay. Just admit it.
Gay.
Like, just it's not the butt wiping that made you gay. It's you were born gay.
Just be gay. Oh, yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if Pete Hegseth is gay because he's such a he's so misogynist. Yeah. Oh, exactly. Exactly. And he's so vehemently anti-gay. Like, who gives a shit unless you're, you know, and totally. It's like that guy. Who was that? There was a kid that used to go around. Oh, he was like one of these right-wing influencers, and he would go into Target and videotape himself destroying pride displays. I can't remember his name. He got outed. One of his Grindr profiles got outed, of course. And I was screaming about that. I was like, this kid is gay. Who does this? Otherwise, he hates himself. Yeah. And in the Grindr, he was having a conversation with somebody that he was going to hook up with. He's like, yeah, I'm a bottom. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but it's just typical. Cause he's like, guys tell me I feel, it's the hypocrisy. He's like, guys tell me I feel like they're girlfriends. I mean, and then he sent a picture of himself without his head, of course,
Oh,
they
he's a
cropped.
soft boy.
And he's like, and the guy's like, hey, can I see your face? And he's like, oh, I'm kind of a public person. It was him though. It was definitely him. And then he sent his full face and everything. So, it was confirmed, but I haven't seen him since.
Wow.
I think he probably went underground, but he's not destroying pride displays any further. It's like, but do you see how disgusting and tragic that is?
And
just get
this
help.
is part of that extremism and use of words, like too. They're trying to, the thing that we are not tying together because it's not the cause. The cause is they hate themselves, and they've been repressed into hating themselves because the destructive Christian nationalist thought process is you cannot be gay. The gayness isn't the problem. It's the hatred that they're being taught to hate themselves and loathe everybody around them.
Right.
And so it's okay. I'm finding from friends and conversations and talking about this is it's okay to out people who are actively harming your community.
I agree.
They're part of the community, and then hiding behind an office of political power where they actually have influence to do something.
Yep.
They're not in any way, shape, or form part of the community. And it's not, you have to use whatever tools are available. And the thing is, when it happens, when it comes out, say that the Grindr profiles are real for Mike Johnson, because we all figure it's real. Like he's one of those
gay
dudes that sits there and says, as long as I don't look, it's not gay.
Right.
And like, he shares his porn habits with his son.
I know, it's so sick. Son. What are you doing thinking about your son's masturbation habits?
He adopted a near adult young boy who is
that what they
18.
call him? Wow.
And he was a young adult male, and he
amazing
adopted him.
And
nobody ever talks about it.
Right. Like, weird.
But they tie the gayness or the transness with extremism, and they do it on purpose. So that they confuse you and make you think that the gayness or the trans or whatever, the thing that is part of your personhood that isn't a problem, you're just afraid of it, and you hate yourself because of it. Nick Fuentes, who doesn't think having sex with other dudes is gay because only men can please men. It's some weird Roman philosophy.
Wow.
Women are for procreation, but men are for.
Is that what he says?
Fun.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
He's.
I thought he was an incel.
He is.
Like,
he is.
Wow, what are we doing?
There's a maxing thing that they do.
Sick.
It's all part of this maxing black pill thing. Where they take everything, like looks maxing. They take everything to the most extreme. I had a discussion with some young kids who are young. I think there were 16, 17-year-olds. We had a discussion here on Banner and Backbone with about this pipeline, and there's some terminology in there, and it's all about like the Chad, and it's the rating systems and how they rate themselves physically. They mutilate themselves. Black pillars and red pillars. This is what they do. If you go to looks maxing, like Google looks maxing.
This is a right wing thing, or am I?
It's part of the nihilist movement.
Oh, okay.
But it's spawned from this right wing neo-fascist Nick Fuentes thing.
Jesus
it's all
Christ.
based
This
on
is where
Nick
the
Fuentes.
young men on the right are going off the rails over here.
Wow.
Yeah.
What is so sad.
And so this is where they talk about themselves as like the peak is an atom. Think about that for a second. The peak is an atom. Underneath, and that's unachievable. That's like perfection. There can only ever be one atom. And so nobody's ever able really to
like the
get
name
to atom. Like the name Adam.
Okay.
Like Adam and Eve, the most beta man ever who let a snake take his wife when there were only two of them. And the snake took a talking snake, which is just an allegory for a dildo. Like she figured out she could pleasure herself and she didn't need him anymore.
He's just a dullard.
Yeah. But they think that's the peak. And then underneath is like a Chad and then other things. And that it gets like, it's super harsh.
And these are people, and this is somebody that had dinner with Trader Trump.
Yes.
And this is what the problem is like. And then, watching all of the Epstein releases so far, what strikes me is that we got to get rid of these people legally and peacefully. Get rid of these people from the halls of power. They're not fit to be in the halls of power. They're mental. If all you give a shit about is money, that's all that matters. You sit. I mean, God, if he had to, lick the taint of that Mohammed bin Bonesaw, I'm sure he would have done it too. Money, 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 not for us, for him, but there's never enough to feed that, to fill that disgusting black hole of need and greed that they call a personality. There's nothing there. They have nothing to offer. And that's why he's so sick for maggots to follow these people that hate your guts, and all they care about is like getting their little dick sucked or getting some more money for their putting some gold shit up around them. Like, go fucking go
the
away.
Gold trim is like lifting a truck.
It's unbelievable.
That's the same energy I get from when I see the gold trim. Is like, it's
what
that
is
little
it?
dick lifted truck energy.
Oh, yes.
When you got a monster truck lift on your car and you have to have a fucking ladder to get in. And your penis is the size of the tip of my pinky. Like, that's the energy I get.
That's it.
Is like, that's all they are. Is they're just they're little boys who are inadequate in a lot of ways. And
that's it.
They need to be reminded of that.
And they're not around. They're not talking about like, what are we going to do about poverty and inequality and upward immobility? No, they're talking about, hey, look what I got. Look, here's that. I banged this 15-year-old. You fucking disgraces.
What's the difference between 5 and 15, Meghan R. Kelly?
Megan, I mean, for real.
Jesus. Like,
you disgrace.
I can tell you what the difference is. There isn't. They're
children. They're both children.
Barely legal is 18, 19, 20, 21. Like, that's barely legal.
Yeah, I mean,
that's
what you're talking about.
Like
that 21 has a 14-year-old daughter at home. So something tells you don't really interact with your kid that much. Maybe the nanny has raised your kid, so you're unfamiliar with what a 15-year-old acts like. Because if you're around a 15-year-old for an hour, know they're a fucking child. You want to strangle them already.
They're children.
You don't even need to be around them for an hour to figure it out. Like, the first things they'll say, you can figure out that that's a child. Like,
it's not it's not you shouldn't sexualize a 15-year-old, you disgusting monster. And say, oh no, he's into the barely legal. Like, how dare you?
Barely legal means they're actually legal first.
Yeah, you got to be legal to be barely legal.
Under the age of legality. Like, and we guess, and I know the age of consent in the US has some weird fucking laws. We need to fix those. Like, it's disgusting that we are regressing in our laws.
Oh, in the red states,
mostly red states on consent and child marriages.
That's what it is.
Fucking gross, people.
Yep.
If you're an adult male and you need to marry a child, you're a fucking pedophile. One. Two,
exactly.
You're just a waste. Like, dude.
Well, they make excuses. That's like
up to become a man and actually learn how to be a man.
Right.
Learn how to then respect people, and maybe a woman your age who's actually an adult, who isn't a child that you are raping and abusing.
Right.
Maybe you could actually have a happy life.
Yeah, but
of being a fucking monster.
Nick, you said something about respect. Respect people. This is the problem. It's really about us as a society. How much do we have to hate ourselves as a society to allow that to continue? And this has been going on for years.
Right.
To allow ourselves and this is why they divide us. And it's the problem. They keep people divided. If you're focused on an immigrant, an illegal, somebody lower on the ladder,
dangerous words.
Exactly.
Illegal immigrant.
So, you're illegal. It's not illegals, I mean, who are taking your upward mobility and economic prosperity. In fact, I've been arguing for years that, maggots, whatever. Sometimes I feel bad calling them maggots, but it is what it is, because they're annoying. They're annoying. So whatever. But they want all the benefits of civilization, and you could just Google and I've played many clips of these, people who are at Trump's rallies and whatnot saying, oh, I'm on Social Security and Medicaid, but all these illegals are getting free benefits, and they're getting as if so they're you see what I'm saying? Because they have been manipulated into thinking, oh, the problem is not the policymakers that I'm voting for, it's because of the illegals, and the illegals are getting everything. And if they only were out of here, then I could have more Social Security and more Medicaid and more of the social safety net that I deserve. You know what I mean? So they want all the benefits of civilization. They want the policies that Democrats have fought, bled, and died for.
Was that in the book club last week when we had the guy in the chat that said he was a drywall hanger in the 80s and he lost all his business because immigrants.
Oh shit!
Reagan opened the border and so he was put out of work. So why don't they just go hang drywall in Mexico? And I was like, it's crazy in that scenario that you blame the immigrant, not your employer.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
That's super weird, man.
Right.
And
why do you have this vitriol towards Mexican people when it was your boss?
Yeah.
Oh, hey, I can pay these people less and exploit them.
Right. That's how we know. Exactly. But that's how we know they're full of shit, Republicans, because they really did. If they wanted to do something about illegal immigration or whatever, they would target the employers. That's it, not the people. Yeah, so go after the employers. But none of them, and that's why I talk about the mainstream media. They don't even bring it up. What the fuck? I mean, we talk about it here. They should be saying it on the platforms that have millions of eyeballs watching
Democrats
it too.
have totally missed the boat.
Oh, totally.
Totally missed
because they
missed the whole fucking everything. The flotilla, they missed the whole movement on messaging.
I know.
The right has had messaging, and they just repeat the lie and repeat it and repeat it and repeat it. And that's their strategy. And they've used the same strategy for like 50 years.
Yes.
And liberal or leftist media still seems to be absolutely baffled how to combat this.
Exactly.
We just have no clue. We better represent both sides. Well, what about both sides?
We want a Joe Rogan on the left or something like that, but we won't pay for small creators like us.
Oh, that's right.
From the top down. I'm not saying y'all. I'm not saying folks in the chat. We're talking about the people who have the money in the Democratic Party and the Democratic institution who refuse to pay for left-wing media creators.
That's
right. The right wing does it all the time. Why are we not paying them?
And
why are we not paying us? We're saying the shit.
No, you're right. And they also, the larger media outlets, because it's all connected, will take a small right-winger influencer, let's say, and they will elevate them because they understood that wherever people went, they wanted them to encounter the right-wing message. And that's because they have nothing to offer in reality. They only have bullshit. So they got good at branding. So that's why they would take the, for example, I point to Diamond and Silk, because these were like two nobodies. They started to put them on Fox News, and then they were, next thing you know, they were in the White House with Trader Trump. This is what happens on the right. They do that with, and especially if somebody who is, a minority. So, because then they love that. If you're a right-wing minority or, of some sort.
Not so much anymore.
Yeah. Well, then you're a human shield. That's why they love Diamond and Silk, because they were like human shields for Republican bigotry.
But now they're platforming fucking Nick Fuentes. They've had him on Fox.
But that's what I mean.
Kirk
it's like
before he died.
Exactly.
He was just a podcast. How do we get the Charlie Kirks as people? We need bigger organizations to help.
I got to grab this phone call.
Yeah, we got to go anyway. We're over. Tara, I'll sell you.
All righty.
Go grab your phone call.
All righty, guys.
We'll see you later. We'll see you soon, Tara.
All right, Tara.
All right. And so as we close our episode out, because we did run a little long today.
Sorry. Hold on a second.
No, you're all right. Because I'm gonna mute Tara for a second, and I'm gonna start our extra for everyone. Is thanks one for being with us today for this whole show. Love having the amazing crowd, the interaction as always. Come help support Banner and Backbone. We are doing a flash sale today for 50% off your first year to any new subscriber as part of Blue Friday. We are building on our co-founder Lawrence Winterman's idea that came out with Blue Amp Media to do Blue Friday, where, like we talked about earlier, help support causes that you care about. And part of that is help support Banner and Backbone grow. So come join us with 50% off for your first year on annual or monthly memberships, or help us and join as one of our newest founding subscribers and become one of the backbones of the Banner for $250 a year annually. Help us become larger. That's what helps us grow and eventually get the things we need for the security, the safety, the legal protections, and the networking to help us get larger. And then obviously is shift over to my two good friends here. First, Tara, can you sell yourself?
Hey, thank you. Sorry about that, guys. Life, this is what we do because we're
happens.
multitasking here. You know what I mean? It's really true. So yeah, thank you guys. Tonight I have my Tara Buster at Friday nights, 8:30 p.m. at the Tara Buster YouTube channel, youtube.com/c4channel/Tara Buster. Ellie Leonard's going to be the guest tonight, and I got to get I had Nick on, and we got to get the whole anti-fascist book club, Stephanie, and everyone. I hope. Wait, hold on a second. I'm losing. I thought. Go ahead. Something's happened. Something's happened. Oh, I'm getting a beach ball. I guess I'm not frozen.
You're not frozen. You're looking fine on this side.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. Anyway, come and join us. Please just subscribe to my Substack. That's all. Thank you. Thank you. Sorry.
No, you're great.
I'm having
Tara,
some technical difficulties here.
No, you're all right. I get that. And next, Melissa, my good friend.
Yes. I think you're definitely going to want to subscribe because I'm going to be in DC live again tomorrow. So driving up super early in the morning, there's a sustained resistance movement going on. And tomorrow, once I got a text message that Dropkick Murphys is going to be playing on the National Mall, I was like, well, I guess if I have to, I'll go ahead and go.
Yes.
So I'm probably going to be going live around 2. It'll be fun because one of my sons is coming with me. He's 17, a really good photographer. So he's going to be taking his own set of pictures and footage, and he'll probably be helping me with my live. I went by myself last time, so I couldn't watch the chat and all that. So I'll have a little bit more assistance to be interactive. But they are having a march, and I'll bring you directly into the heart of the march, just like I did last time. So make sure you are subscribed.
Love it. That's awesome. I'm sorry, I just got side-railed because I saw a comment on one of my notes.
Oh.
Somebody asking me to take a look at the Communist Party.
Oh, wow. What do you mean? Becoming a member?
Become a member of the Revolutionary Communist Party, the International.
Don't do that.
Really.
No, don't do that. We actively discourage that here.
Yes.
Come join Sick of This Shit Publications. We are not members of the Revolutionary Communist Party. We are members of America. I'm a guy. I want people to have freedoms and dignity. I also like writing poetry. I like talking about chronic illness, and I like building community. And so come join me at Sick of This Shit Publications. That's my other home where I do all my secondary work. And then again, finally, come subscribe, Banner and Backbone. Hit the subscribe in the top left corner if you're on Substack. Join all of us. 169 of you here right now. Thank you so much for joining. We appreciate every single one of you for being here. do not join the Revolutionary Communist Party.
Don't do that.
Not join. That is a bad thing.
Yeah,
They
that's
tend
like
to
a
do very,
distraction.
very bad
Yeah.
things, and they promote violence and very unethical tendencies for protests and for sit-in movements and things like that. So
there's
be
just so
cautious,
many
funny.
better
investigate.
options. Yeah,
There
there's
are.
Right.
There
so many
are.
better options.
And then
Right.
join with us next week for, well, maybe not next week. We'll have to discuss because it's the day after Thanksgiving.
Right. If we're having a
If
show.
we're going to do a show, we may skip
Yes.
next week. But join us for our next episode in 2 weeks when we come
Well, you
back.
never know. I mean, usually the day after Thanksgiving, there's a lot of people around.
Yeah,
So
who knows?
I'm just saying.
We may come on just for the hell of it and just do it.
Yeah.
And that will be the closing out of Timothy Snyder's On Tyranny, where we go into be calm when the unthinkable arrives, be a patriot, and be as courageous as you can.
Oh, you know what? We may want to do that next week because I have ice coming to my town.
Oh, wow.
So
oh, no. Really?
I may need a lesson on being calm.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Well,
that's it. Yeah.
I think we'll
you
do
gotta
it.
You respond with that's very encouraging watching the people in Portland, for example, respond with like wearing those balloon costumes and all that. Yeah. It's great. It's fabulous.
And
it's great.
And help support the founder of the anti-fascist book clubs in general, who is our good friend Chris Goldsmith. I'm going to put up his QR code here real quick. Is go subscribe to Chris Goldsmith's On Offense here on Substack. He just put out his first article and podcast, or first podcast there the other day. He founded the anti-fascist book club itself. He is the founder at Task Force Butler and Veterans Fighting Fascism, which are the models that we have built this book club off of. So I want to make sure Chris also gets some free promotion here. Is go subscribe to Chris. He's freaking awesome. He comes and joins us quite often here on the show. I get to talk to him a lot. He's a very knowledgeable guy and is helping to lead a lot of the resistance and teach us how we can lead our own resistance peacefully, patriotically, and restore this country. So thanks, everyone. Again, subscribe to all of us. Come back next week as we talk and finish the Anti-Fascist Book Club's On Tyranny series. And then we'll do a banner cast later with all of the episodes back to back to back. So you get to see everything, hear the full discussion, and get to see all of our lovely faces for almost 8 or 9 hours during that series. So thanks, everyone. And we'll see you all next week. Have a great day and tag.
Thank you.
For it for democracy.
Yeah.
You're right.